Alright guys, Mission Impossible project is back on track. I'd like to thank Tim. I actually took a video of Tim giving us these heads and I went to post it today and for some reason it wasn't on the phone. So I goofed up somehow and I apologize to Tim. But he's a real good guy. He lives local to me and it's a funny story. He had a 318 in Craigslist or something, so I wrote him a big long speech of who I am and what project I'm on, and he writes back, he's like, yeah, I'm a sub. I watch you. Yeah, I'll be glad to donate the heads. So Rob and I went over there and took a look, pulled the heads off the engine, and they turned out to be J heads. So he was thrilled, but we can't use them for the project. The next day he goes, I have a Volare in the backyard. I'll pull those heads off for you. And they happen to be the exact number head that we need, which are 675s. Let me check. Okay, DV chunk, 675s. 675s. So what I did is I took one. These were rebuilt not too long ago because the exhausts, I forget what they call it. They run a mandrel down it and expand it a little bit. They last for a short period of time, and then they're shot. So the guides need to be done on here, which is no big deal. And it's obviously not a stock valve job. It's a much better than stock valve job on these. Okay? Yes, I put them on the bench. I float them just the way they are. I figured what I think I should do for these is for the guys that are, you know, actually going to hop up a 318. What I'm going to do to these is we're going to leave that valve job exactly where it is. I'm going to do a little chamber deshrouding and a little bowl work, and we're going to reflow them, which is enough for most hot rodders, I would bet. Okay, these actually flow better than I expected just with the good valve job. Now, the valves are stock. I don't even know if you can see. It has just a touch of blue on the valve itself. Not a lot. I know my lighting is kind of poor. Let's see if we can get better lighting. There we go. Hey, look at that. Alright, you can see we got a little splatter in our bowl. All on the straight wall side. The exhaust is completely stock. All I did was take the carbon off them, guys, and flowed them. Overall, these came out of a running engine. They look really good. I got to crack check them. I got to do the guides. I got to do the seats. But in reality, I don't have to do too much with the seats. I just have to redo them for DV specific valve job. And then, of course, do all the porting that we did on that chunk. So how did these work out just the way they are stock? Let's take a good look at what they look like on the inside stock. Okay, you know, the boss is quite large. That's a major issue. I just scraped the carbon off the runners and float them the way they are. Relatively small openings. You know, you can see how much smaller they are than the gasket. Okay, they could use some work. That long guide boss vane, most of that is going to be coming out. But it is kind of interesting, just with a good valve job, what it flowed and what the air speeds were. The exhaust bowl needs the lion's share of the work because it's basically a flat roof, right? And it's not very wide, so it could use some serious work action. Of course, the short side radius is... Let's see if we can get a different angle. Okay, you can see I missed a little bit of carbon on that left wall, but the short side radius looks pretty darn good. Whoever did the valve job looks like it's got about 4 angles on that, so that's definitely a step in the right direction. Okay, the exhaust has got a razor sharp short side radius. I'm willing to bet we could do a little better on that. You can see at least 3 distinct angles on that, so that looks pretty good. Interesting splatter on the completely stock with just a valve job 318. Okay, basically all hanging right on that straight wall. Okay, extra dirty, and if you take a look at the upper right hand corner, it started at 86 degrees, so it was hot. But I did it as fast as I could because I wanted to get it done. Really is not bad. I mean, I was not expecting it to break 170 and wound up getting 181. Okay, actually it was 184 was our best number at 0.35. Notice this low lift curve is quite strong. In fact, by the time I do all my bowl work, I'm willing to bet a lot of this is going to drop to get more gains up top. Okay, interesting swirl curve, right? Starts good, dead spot. As soon as it starts going over the short side, it really picks up. Then it starts going the opposite direction. We got 2 negatives here, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't say that was a good thing. But yeah, you know, are you really going to run a 600 lift on a completely stock port? Probably not. Take a look at the exhaust. The exhaust did much better than I was expecting. I was only expecting maybe 120. Okay. Or maybe I'm way off in left field and I need to check the bench again, but I don't think so. This is interesting. Look at these. Dead even at 550 lift. Dead even on the pinch. The pinch is quite small on these, right? Just had some clay radius. Most of the air is going down the straight wall. We knew that. And the short side radius, completely stock. It's nice and even across it. So maybe the engineers, you know, did pay attention to certain things. I don't know. The exhaust, we got fast here. Not bad in the middle. Fast here. It's still, if you look through the middle, from the right to the left, that's not bad. You got to remember this is a very tall, narrow port, so it's tough to even get, you know, 9 measurements on that. A little bit low in the middle, floor here, and a little bit dead on the outside corner. But overall, not bad. So what I think I'm going to do with these today is I'm going to whack out some serious bowl action, maybe a little de-shrouding according to the chunk DV did for us. And I'm going to reflow this exactly with that valve job and those valves. Alright guys, let's see if there's something else I need to talk to you guys about. Let me think. Okay, the term was knurling. I couldn't think of what it was. But the intakes didn't get knurled, only the exhausts. And one of these has got a new iron in it. Now the other head hasn't even come apart yet. It's got blue valve springs. I don't know what that means. But it was obviously rebuilt because it was knurled. It has a nicer valve job, and it has shims under the springs. And Tim said it had a set of headers on it. I don't know anything else about the engine, really, except that it came out of a Volare. And overall, I mean, this is how clean it was. You know, I didn't do anything to these. So they definitely are not high mileage heads since last time they were touched. Okay. All right, so I'd like to thank Tim again. These will get done up for Mission Impossible with stock valve sizes. I believe I have a brand new set of intake valves I can donate to the cause. Maybe somebody's got some brand new exhausts for me. Exhaust valves. That would be nice. We could use all nice new stuff from this. It also makes it a lot easier for me doing the guides. Alright, I almost forgot to show you the intake short side radius from this angle. It really doesn't look bad. It's got decent shape to it. Yeah, it could be quite a bit wider. And there's plenty of casting metal to make it wider, which will help. Alright guys, Thanks for hanging out. Have a good night.